all of the dick scenes in Steve McQueen stuff is non-sexual, just in general. Like none of it is.
It's all pretty sad.
It's all very sad. Yes.
Wait, maybe you saw something in 12 Years a Slave that I did. I mean, I saw it differently.
Oh no.
Oh dear, Josh, it's just stuff we're gonna have to cut out.
God.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, hello there. Welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined not only by my co-host Ryan, but we have two other people in the room. This is very exciting. We've never done this before, but we have had Josh Martin here from Uncomfortable Brunch, and joining him is Katie Whitacre, also from Uncomfortable Brunch. You didn't mention her last time you were here, Josh.
Yeah, so I learned. So I've learned.
Welcome to you both. I'm very happy to have you here.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
I'm fine.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't get to say fucking hello or anything.
I was waiting for you.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, I guess I kind of cut you off there.
No, you cut me off. You didn't really give me a fucking chance to say anything. You know, I'm only 50% of the show.
Not today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, we brought everyone here today to talk about a momentous film, a film that means so much to so many people, the 2011 Steve McQueen picture, Shame, which is categorized as a psychological erotic drama, which I find very weird. And it's also rated NC-17.
It is.
Shame, shame. I know your name.
Yeah, why did you put your notes away? Tell us why this is rated NC-17.
It made me giggle so much when I put this on. I actually just watched it again last night. Mm-hmm. And the blue MPAA screen comes on at the beginning of the Blu-ray. And it says NC-17 for some explicit sexual content. And that's it. There's a lot more in this movie than some explicit sexual content. Like,
I mean, there's
like
buttholes.
There's a lot more, yeah.
And there's ass eating.
There is ass eating, and I don't think it's simulated. I really took a look this time around, and he is.
Did you pause it? And
I went frame by frame for a minute, not a full minute of frame by frame. It wasn't like I didn't spend.
Is his tongue really in her
I didn't spend
butthole?
240 seconds.
I mean, he's nose deep.
Yeah,
in
I
there.
mean,
he's really in there.
Yeah, I would assume that Fassbender does not mess around when it comes to doing things on a film set. Yes. Yeah. So it's like, Steve, you want me to eat the ass, right?
Yeah. We're
like,
gonna go for realism here, so I'm gonna do it for real.
Michael, I didn't say anything. All right, okay, good. That's fine. I'll do it. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, so this movie stars Michael Fassbender as Brandon and Carey Mulligan as Sissy. Love it. Well, we've already talked about McQueen, so we don't have to.
I'm not gonna delve into the McQueen filmography one more time. But this is his second film.
Yeah, he co-wrote this film with Abby Morgan, and I was expecting to find out a little bit more about Abby, but I didn't really.
She didn't make very interesting movies, I don't think. Suffragettes.
Iron Lady.
Iron Lady's not very. I mean, it's pretty.
Really?
It's fine.
She did.
For fuck's sake!
It's
Could we not go one episode without having to talk about Margaret fucking Thatcher?
Not when we're talking about Steve McQueen.
I mean, you were talking about hunger last episode, right? So you can't really do that one without talking about Thatcher.
I made my peace in that episode in regards to Margaret Thatcher, so...
Not gonna revisit the rant?
No, I think, it was a single sentence, and I feel like it hits home.
Listen, I'm just glad that you guys got to have your Reagan, too.
Did it involve the C word? Because I feel like I would have...
Well, before we drop too hard into this film, I want to throw the synopsis out there. So let me put on my synopsis voice. Brandon, a 30-something man living in New York, eludes intimacy with women, but feeds his deepest desires with a compulsive addiction to sex. When his younger sister temporarily moves into his apartment, stirring up bitter memories of their shared painful past, Brandon's life, like his fragile mind, gets out of control.
There's no way Steve McQueen wrote that.
Yeah.
Jesus, that is... Like, it's all technically true, but no. That is not the tone of this fucking movie.
No.
I also kind of found myself wondering if Sissy was her actual name or if it was just, like, the relationship is what defined her.
Yeah.
She was so codependent.
Yeah, those phone calls and messages that she left him were upsetting. Just like the Brandon.
Yeah.
And those whispers and breathing, like, all of the time.
Well, like her brother, she's a troubled soul.
I feel like they definitely had some sort of, like, weird sexual relationship growing up.
Steve McQueen says that he intentionally did not outline that, and that he never personally thought that they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that too. But there's something about the difference in the relationship where they're completely different people, right? And she's just incredibly comfortable with herself, and she's just the type of person that doesn't give a shit that she's totally naked in front of her brother.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't faze her at all.
I read about how that her nude scene in it, and how she said she's very kind of uptight about doing nude scenes in films unless it really, really needs to be there. And she's like, this is obviously this character and it works. She's like, but she said, like, in her real life that she is so conservative. Like, she wears, like, shorts and a t-shirt to the beach, like, in real life.
Sounds like my kind of girl.
Right. But she did say that she found it kind of liberating to do that scene.
Well, I mean, she hounded Steve McQueen for this job.
Yeah.
Like crazy, and he wasn't interested. And she kept bothering him.
Well, good for her. She did a great job.
Yeah, no, I liked her a lot. I was trying to find the thing that I wrote. Well, Steve McQueen told her that she was good, but to be in his film, she had to be 16 times better.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he said that to her.
That's so rude.
Wow.
And
okay.
this was her, like, she called this a dream role for her, which is why she bothered him. I think she got a tattoo to prove to him she could do it.
Yeah.
So she basically begged him.
Okay.
Which is...
She did method acting by getting a tattoo because
Apparently.
She's basically Jared Leto. Or no, it's Shia LaBeouf.
Don't.
That's who did the tattoo.
Oh,
That's
Shia
I was
LaBeouf.
like, don't
No.
compare.
Oh, like
Carey
Shia's
Mulligan.
better?
I don't like you comparing her to either of them, but oh my goodness.
Which is weird. We haven't talked about Shia LaBeouf yet, but he is running rampant on the website.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Is that true?
Is he?
Is he an actual cannibal?
No, that's an old meme.
Oh,
Song.
right. Okay.
Actual cannibal.
So it was like
Shia
sharing memes with the other
Armie
fucking
Hammer.
dude, Arnie Hammer, yeah.
Arnie.
Arnie.
Yeah, no,
Arnie's
no.
calling him Arnie. Let's call him Arnie, yeah. Good old Arnie.
I think there's a documentary about Armie Hammer coming out pretty soon.
Oh, I can't
But-
wait. Yeah.
Would watch.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the Hammer. I have no problems with the Hammer yet.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I hope that he is into that shit.
I really hope.
Like, I don't think he does it.
Yeah,
I
think that...
I just wanted to be into it, though.
I know. I want him to really, like, just be a freak.
Yeah.
Like a real freak, but also, have consensual
Castle freak.
sex.
No, but, like, I also think that he could find people who are, like, into being eaten. So, I don't know.
Well, that guy did in Germany. He found someone who was going to eat him. There's there was that other story, that kind of Craigslist story, where a guy was like, "Oh, I want someone to kill me, but I want them to kill me in this very specific way, which was to be encased in concrete." Just they murdered him, took his money.
Oh.
That was it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah,
sound
and
like
then
a fun way to
the
go.
guy did it, and then he still got, like, convicted of murder, I think.
Yeah, because obviously Craigslist is not or at least the European version is not the blanket law-abiding.
But he told me to.
But he wanted it.
But he wanted it. He put
definitely
it in
wanted
writing
it.
on the website. What's wrong? It's fine.
I love that this film almost opens with nudity. I mean, it's 2 minutes in.
Well, it does
Yeah.
that. It does that weird Steve McQueen wibbly wobbly time thing that he does.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
So there's
Back and forth.
4 scenes running consecutively together. Some that rewind and repeat back at slightly different angles over the course of about 5 minutes.
Yeah, he loves that non-linear storytelling. I know we're not talking about his filmography because you're establishing that in something else, but, like, I watched 12 Years a Slave, and it also does that whole like back and forth, and
Yeah,
that's just the way he likes it. It's just the way he tells that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it in Hunger too.
Well, the thing is, it works really, really well in Hunger because it's the main crutch of Hunger, is the fact that it has this it goes from one perspective to another perspective quite seamlessly, and I don't know if it works particularly well, or at least distinctively in my opinion, in Shame, and then also 12 Years a Slave. I would say that's the only kind of detriment I had to it.
I mean, I like it because I get to see his dick like 4 times.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
in like the first 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Ever repeating walk down that hallway past the phone.
Like fucking slapping his knees. Like
yes.
that.
I could watch that
Back and forth
all day, every day. You rewound it for me a couple times, Ryan, which it
was purely by accident. It wasn't. I wasn't doing it purely for the reason that we were doing it for. But it happened. We saw it like 4 times.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 14 seconds, and about 4 minutes and 43 seconds.
Yes,
is that whole scene, which I will remember so fondly from Josh when you showed Fish Tank at Uncomfortable Brunch, and you said, I knew you were going to be here, and I brought Shame. And right when the movie was over, you put on Shame, and someone took a video of me watching...
I completely forgot about this. Holy shit.
It was the video of me watching Shame, and then it was zoomed in on Michael Fassbender's dick, and then zoomed back into me with this look of absolute glee on my face. And I posted it to Instagram, and that is the first time I got soft banned from Instagram. And 100% not the last time. That was my first soft ban. I was sad because it took it away, and I don't know if I have it anymore, but I loved that video.
Man, yeah, who has that video?
I don't know.
Who took the video?
You know what?
I think Carolina did, right?
It might have been Renee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dear friend Renee.
Thick as thieves. Yeah.
Well, I think that we need to make a phone call.
Yeah, I got to see if that's on the on the cloud.
Because that, I think, definitely I would put on the Uncomfortable Brunch Instagram leading up to our screening of Shame.
That's such a good idea.
I don't care if we get banned for a minute. Whatever.
That's fair.
It's been a while. It hasn't been since Nymphomaniac and when we showed at the Nook that we got a soft ban.
We're banding together to get soft banned on Uncomfortable Brunch's Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, look, if that's what you want to do, I don't know if you.
I wonder if we could edit it to where it's just like a little blurry.
I don't want that. I want someone at NCN to send me a message.
Yeah, he wants to burn it all down.
Great.
But like, it's probably going to be like Tim going, "Hey."
Yeah. He's gotten after us a couple times.
Can you take down that dick?
I love the beginning of this film. It's like, it's always captured my awe and attention, and we all know why. People always ask me, because when they find out what I do, they find out about the podcast, it's a question that always comes up: what is your favorite dick movie? And it doesn't take me long because it's always Shame. It's always Shame.
It's a good one.
It's a really, really good one.
Honestly, mine is Rare Exports.
Well, it's coming up on Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
Feel free to invite me back for that one.
So many old man penises.
So many.
Are we doing Rare Exports for December? Who knows?
You know.
Yeah, you never know.
I would happily come back to talk about old man dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Well,
ready.
we wrote a bunch of stuff on a tissue the other day when we were having a beer.
Yeah.
A tissue.
Yeah.
Not even a napkin, a tissue.
Well,
Tissue.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I mean, it's over there somewhere.
Yeah, it's a good list for the end of the year.
It's the good list. Yeah.
I don't know, Josh, do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite dick movie?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm so on the spot now. I wish I would have had time to think about this. I mean,
you've only been on the podcast once before.
That's true. I've never been asked what my favorite is.
Ooh, okay. Well, you can.
No, gut reaction.
My gut reaction, I feel like it's not sincere because I just rewatched it, but I think Short Bus, because it has them using an erect penis as a fake microphone.
Yeah.
And that's maybe my favorite dick scene. I mean, and of many great dick scenes in that movie, that dude fucking ejaculates on his own face and cries.
Yeah.
That is like speaking my language. But the threesome where the guys are singing into each other's cocks is pretty great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember seeing Short Bus. I saw that clip where he ejaculates into his own mouth and starts crying, and I started laughing hysterically. We got a visit from someone from the BBFC, and they used Short Bus as an example as to how they would rate that film accordingly. And I was like, oh, okay. But then I couldn't stop laughing because he just ejaculated into his own mouth. Just started crying. I don't know, Bad Lieutenant's a really good one. Like that's always because I'm kind of immune to, as we found out over the course of doing this podcast, I'm immune to seeing other dicks and stuff in other movies unless it's very particular.
Angry?
So, I mean, well, it's that bit where Harvey Keitel is like, he's kind of like crying and he's got his arms outstretched and Hello My Darling's playing on the LP and he's just greeting his dicks out, he's in a mirror, all that sort of, I mean, I don't know, now I remember that.
Well, it's funny because when we say this all the time that there's so many of your favorite movies have dicks in them, but you didn't remember until
fucking shit
you met
ton
me.
of them do, yeah.
And I'm like, there's a dick in that, you know?
Yeah.
Did you know there's a dick in that movie?
And whenever I told my mom that I was going to come and record this podcast, she was like, I told her what it was about. I was like, oh, it's like full frontal male nudity in movies. And she was just like pornography? And I was like, no.
She's been to so many of our screenings. She has to know the difference.
Yeah.
Like,
she likes John Waters movies. Like,
that's so funny to me.
I love that.
I love it.
This little Midwestern woman, like,
she loves John Waters and Tremors, and it makes me so happy.
It's so weird. Like,
I love always telling my mother, specifically when I see Matthew McConaughey in any sort of naked way, and I like let her know, because there's was it that William Friedkin movie with Matthew McConaughey, and he plays a cop who's
Killer Joe.
Killer Joe, which is that is a 5-star film.
Love it.
Killer Joe's a 5-star film. But you see his balls in that movie. So I made sure to tell my mom. I go, hey mom, I just watched this movie. It's really messed up. But you see Matthew McConaughey's balls. So if you want to check it out, and she watched it the next day.
Excellent.
You might never want to eat a chicken drumstick again, but
yeah, I said you might be a little scarred.
I saw the stage production of that, and it's not different, but the angles of which you're sitting in the audience are. So,
holy moly!
Yeah, it was something.
I'm gonna bring it all back to the Fassbender. There was something that I can. I have a quote from him regarding nudity, which I think is very important. Quote, I think it's the idea of male frontal nudity. It just baffles me. Women can parade around naked all the time, but the guy conveniently has his pants on. I remember my mom always complaining about that to me and saying, this is such bullshit. It's always the women who are naked. So I did this one for you, Mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That is sweet.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just like, oh, I get to see my son's, like, 8-inch
But I love that. I mean, it's, we were talking about...
Fucking dicks
look at
slapping
my boy hanging that dong.
That said, his mother wasn't able to make the premiere, and it was just his father.
Right.
And he and his father agreed, it's probably good that your mom wasn't here.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because, I mean, he did say that, but I do, talking about moms and stuff, and this mom knows what's up.
Yeah.
I
mean, but wanting, like, something idealistically versus practically are different.
Yeah.
Well, she probably didn't expect him to do it.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to watch their kid eat someone's ass.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you shouldn't.
And certainly at least the nudity and certainly the depictions of the nudity and the sexualization of everything in this movie is not particularly sexy. Like, you're not looking at it going like...
Explain my fucking erection the whole time, though.
It is wild, like, the sheer amount of sex.
I mean, we watched Reanimator recently, and I was kind of like, why am I getting hard?
Been there.
Oh my god.
Dead cat.
I watched that movie with my mom, accidentally. It did not go well.
I remember once first time I ever saw Unfaithful. It was on TV. Laura knows this story as well. I ended up stumbling on it I was in the living room. My mom's sitting there, and we're watching Unfaithful. And at one point, like about 5 minutes into it, she's like, "I don't feel very comfortable watching it with you in this room." And I was just like, "Well, I don't know. I just let's just see what happens." And we're watching it and stuff. And Diane Lane's there, and there's a scene where she's had sex with the dude, and then she's gotten dressed again, and they're talking, and like literally 2 minutes later, he's just trying to like take the clothes back off of Diane Lane, and she just turns to me and she goes, "He won't leave her alone. Won't leave her alone for 5 minutes."
I have a story about Unfaithful that I bring up anytime someone talks about Diane Lane, because back in the day when the TV, you just turned it on a channel and like didn't know what you were watching, I went to the TV guide and I had seen that Under the Tuscan Sun was playing, and I was like, oh, I'll change it to this channel. And so I thought I had changed it to channel because it was Diane Lane, so it made sense that it was. And then, she was just putting on a lot of lotion and having sex with this foreign guy, and then he, spoiler, he gets murdered with a snow globe by Richard Gere in a sweater vest.
Hell
but
yeah.
at the end of it, when like the credits are rolling, I was just like, when does she go to Italy? What is happening?
I really want to believe that you thought that was Under the Tuscan Sun for like years. Like, just in your head, that's what that was.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have believed it, but I went back to the TV. I was like, oh, this is okay. Makes sense.
This is the dirty Diane Lane channel. Got it. I feel like we haven't talked about Michael Fassbender's penis enough because it's only in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, you don't really
you
see
his balls.
You do see
his
his balls
a couple times.
A couple more times, but...
I probably didn't pause it frame by frame like you did, but I feel like we don't... I'm just staring into Josh's eyes like, I know that you paused it frame by frame.
I'm not denying it.
There's his balls.
Yeah.
There's his balls again.
It's during the threesome scene towards the end when he's totally unhinged.
Yeah.
And then...
when he jumps on Sissy.
When he jumps on Sissy,
after she walks in on him jerking off, and he starts freaking out at her, but he has a towel around.
And that towel falls off.
Yeah, that towel doesn't do its job for very long.
That is
so his dick was definitely touching her leg.
Yeah.
That's probably why she started screaming.
Yeah. I mean, that thing's like a fucking 13 inches long. Flaccid.
I think, well, he's probably a shower, not a grower.
100%.
Yeah, there's no way that thing is going to be growing.
Yeah, no.
It's be horrified.
It's just what it is, but hard.
Oh, there's a funny thing. So... I was reading it was like a Newsweek roundtable back in 2012, and George Clooney asks Michael Fassbender, he's like, so did you actually pee?
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up, yeah, because I think that's probably the most interesting part of this entire kind of uncovering of this moment, though.
Yeah, he asked him, he goes, how many takes? And he goes, 3.
Yeah, he pissed 3 times. I don't get it.
Insane. I don't understand how that works.
Because it's not short. Like, I mean, it's a full
pee.
It's a full piss. Yeah, it still goes.
They just have like
he's a fucking camel. Yeah.
Gallon of water.
I guess
on the ready.
Oof.
I mean,
even then,
I can't urinate if someone else is in a public restroom. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
To be
that
fair,
guy is way too confident with himself. I don't like it.
I mean, no. I mean, we're talking about the Fassbender here. He does not give a fuck, like whatsoever.
No, he can, in interviews,
once Steve gets, like that's what he is.
Yeah.
Like there was that Q&A session that we watched that's on the DVD, and he was talking about the communication between himself and, say, other actors in the moment, where an actor will come up to him and be like, well, can you speed up this little moment here, or can you do this, can you do that, can you wait until I hit this marker here, and then you can come in and do this. He doesn't like doing that. He likes to be a little bit more off the cuff and of the moment. And sometimes if you're doing let's say an intense scene, let's say he's pinning Carey Mulligan to the couch and his fucking dick flops out from the towel that's just fallen off from his waist. Part of me would feel like he would get a very real reaction out of her in one way or another. He just kind of lets it flow.
He was also saying that Carey Mulligan as an actor brought out more of him, more to Brandon than he would have been able to do on his own, which is a weird thing to say, but maybe it's because she was just like, okay, sure.
Maybe.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
Slap your balls on my leg.
Yeah, she had a tattoo for this movie. She was all in.
She did.
She was going to do whatever needed to be done.
Mm-hmm. She was 17 times better.
She said 16? You need me to be 16? I'll do.
Well, going back to the dick scene, I mean, yeah, the fact that it does end with a piss and Steve likes to hold on shots for a very long time,
yes.
or at least like a lot of the scenes that he does, they're all in oneers for the most part. Him ending with that piss is effectively the end of the wibbly wobbly time stuff where he's creeping out a girl on the subway, or he's having sex with a prostitute, or he's
that scene where he has that prostitute over and he answers the door in those boxer briefs. I swear to God, those boxer briefs give you more. Give you more than you got when he was naked. Did you check out those boxer shorts?
Yeah, because when he was fully naked, there was a shadow, and you couldn't really see as much.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
maybe it's just the glare.
I mean, to be fair, those. those
you gotta watch that at night with all the lights off. I'm just saying.
All alone,
frame by frame.
I mean, you could maybe have a candle lit if you really want, but.
He tried his best to hide the hog, but I mean, it's there.
Impossible.
Yes, it's difficult.
Those boxer briefs.
And I don't think he was creeping the girl out.
No, I think she was into it.
She was.
She was into it, and then you see her engagement ring, and so she's like, oh, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
but it took a long time. It took a long time of him staring at her, and she's staring back and forth until he got right up behind her.
Well, he did his sexy face, is what we've seen. I mean, we'll talk about his sexy face that comes up later as well.
Works
every
time.
Well, because he sees her again later, and then she's like trying to initiate, and I think it was after he was beat up, or
that was the final.
Because he's sitting on the subway. He's on the subway, all fucked up because he just got the shit beaten out of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he had the man smell his fingers.
Yeah.
That he had put down.
Man does.
I did like that scene on the subway though. I liked that whole setup, and you can kind of see what his activities are like when he's not at work and when he's not jerking off at home or jerking off in the bathroom at work, like when he's out, testing the selection of the general public and seeing what he can get out of it. Yeah, just seeing kind of the weird escalation of that situation without him really doing anything is, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're getting a cue into his routine and like what he likes to do, why he likes to do it. I mean, that whole sequence ends just before he ends up going to work with him having a quick wank in the shower. He is a man who is a massive fan of the quick wank over the course of the duration of this film.
Well, you kind of learn about him that it's not. As we learn more and more and more, it's not about the pleasure.
No.
It is about pure necessity.
When he's jerking off at work in the stall, he's standing. That's... come on, treat yourself. You can sit down.
It's kind of like... He's like, oh, gotta milk the cow again.
It is time.
Yeah.
They took my computer. I have to use my mental spank bank at work.
Well, that happened. That happened to a friend of mine at work.
Wait, what?
And then he...
Like, well, no. What part?
Wait, what happened?
So he would masturbate at work, and then he would publicize it on Facebook.
What?
That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah. Oh. So he would do it at work, and he would be like wanking on company time, and then that would just be
That's hilarious.
That was his thing, and
Was
I
that
remember
the name of his channel?
I remember talking to other people about it, where it was just like, yeah, no, that's a little bit dangerous. You probably shouldn't be saying that online because
Boss makes
you know,
a dollar, I make a
boss
ton.
might,
That's why I wank
boss
on
might
company
find out.
time.
But like, I don't. Well, who would
You
say,
should have us write for him. Amazing.
Well, the thing is, like that also happened when I was at uni as well. There was another story, and we were just about to go to class, and a friend of mine, God bless her, she went to go use the toilet before class, and then she stumbled in on a guy who was sitting down on the toilet doing a shit, and he was also masturbating. So she just went. Some man was masturbating in the toilet. He was doing his shit. It smelled like shit in there. And
But you can't know for sure if those were both him. One certainly was, but you don't know if the poo-poo was him.
Yeah, it could have been.
It could have been just...
Maybe he was jerking off to somebody else who was shitting that
Yeah.
just left.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
And also maybe like he was just like trying to visualize that he was also getting, because isn't it like is it a Blumpkin where you're taking a shit and getting a blowjob at the same
Sure
time?
is.
Yes.
It is indeed.
That is, funnily enough, I don't want to bring it up again, but that also happened to someone that I knew.
How do you convince someone to do that to you?
Thing is, I mean, I don't
The
want to
sordid
say.
tales of uni.
I don't want to say. Well, the thing is, he had Crohn's,
Oh.
and
Oh my.
they were at a bar, and he went. And he'd been chatting to this girl, and he went to go to the toilet because he needed to go, and he described it as if something out of The Ring, where she crawled up over the top of the fucking toilet stall, and then just started sucking on his wiener.
Don't like that.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
The only thing I
Check.
think maybe the only thing he might have learned in that moment was that it was called Blumpkins what had happened to him, because I told him. I said that's what that is.
Good for you.
Learning experience. I like the idea of Michael Fassbender acting like an American business bro when they all go out for drinks. He's
Fucking
like, oh,
bull-
$20, he fucks us up.
Here's the thing as
Chatting with
well.
the ladies.
Here's the thing. They are all like folk are like that.
Business bros?
I don't know if I want to say this again, but I've been in a situation where I've been in a classy cocktail bar, and it's fist bumps all around. Like, it's the worst fucking thing.
When Fassbender reaches over the table and fist bumps his boss, it's the strangest
Yeah,
thing.
you're gonna talk to her.
I
You're
feel
gonna talk
like
to her.
Brandon doesn't actually like any of that, though.
No.
I think it's just an end, means to an end as far
Yeah.
as like getting ahead career-wise. Like because when he's talking to Sissy after she fucks his boss,
yeah.
the way that he talks about him is just so unkind, but not. I don't know.
He's also slut-shaming her.
Yeah.
Real
big
hard.
time. Big time.
I mean, that whole situation was so strange. They go out to the bar where she's, that fancy cocktail bar where she's singing, and then his gross boss starts hitting on her, but then she reciprocates. And then, that whole situation is weird, because I do kind of want to talk about that scene, too, because it's really interesting. But they end up going back to Brandon's place, where Sissy's staying, which I think is weird first of... Oh, wait. No, it's not weird. I said that during the movie. I go, why didn't they go back to his place? It's because he's married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's married with children.
With children. And his boss and his sister, fuck in his bed.
Yeah.
I was so upset. I was so upset. Well, because, it's this whole thing where this is his personal space and she's invading his space and disrupting his, tightly packaged little life.
His fuckery.
His little fuckery
his
dungeon.
little fuck.
His fuck
box.
dungeon.
Yeah.
He's like...
That house, that apartment seems like it smells way better than it would in real life.
It probably just smells like Lysol.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something.
I think that he probably has some candles or something.
You think he lights a candle?
If he wants to
'Cause he-
pretend to be romantic.
Well, because he doesn't just for, like, the scent.
I don't know.
Because he doesn't have... He doesn't have to wear condoms that often because he's usually just masturbating in the shower or, like, to a cam girl.
Right, so that, like, the
So-
wastebasket under his desk, there's no way that smells good.
It's just...
I feel like he's really clean.
Yeah,
What
I get clean vibes from him because she comes over. Sissy is just throwing her stuff all over the place,
he does
and he's
bitch about
tidying
that later
up,
in the movie.
And, everything's in its own place. Everything's very tidy.
Yeah.
So
I just feel like there's a lot of semen being slung around that house. It's got to be a lot of extra work for him.
I feel like there's like
he's doing laundry a lot.
Yeah.
Like immediately when he gets home after like they had fucked in his bed, he takes the sheets off. It's not like he lays on the filth. Like he's like probably
you don't want to lie in your sister's wet spot.
No,
but I think that like. I think that he would do that after he fucks too. Like just like he's used to doing laundry a lot.
He's probably got at least 7 different sets of sheets.
Well, he changes the sheets, but he hasn't got like a mattress protector on it or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. So there's gonna be brown stains.
Ew, brown? What?
Well, when shit dries up, like I mean that's
when poop?
No poop. There's no poop in.
I mean, there might be poop.
There could be poop.
If there is...
I do not think that Brandon is the kind of man that's into poop play.
Could be, yeah. I mean, if there's anal.
I bet he's okay with period blood, though.
Yeah.
You know he puts a towel down.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got
true.
special period towels.
He's probably got a red towel.
He's never in a relationship long enough.
That's true.
To get into the period play because he would
And I don't
probably...
think he won't specifically request it.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's only been in a relationship for 4 months was his longest relationship.
But it's every month, isn't it? Like he would have to. Or is he just like strategically just not having sex
He looks like the kind of guy that would know.
Well, and he's also like not like...
He's obviously not monogamous.
Yeah, he's not monogamous, so he will have different options to avoid the period.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the girls, I don't know, I've never talked to a working girl like that before, but I'm sure that they maybe take some time off. When they're in that bar, when he's being a business bro, and his boss obviously doesn't seal the deal, but Michael Fassbender, who knows the color of all the ladies' eyeballs, gets to go home with that girl, and I find it interesting that when he leaves the bar, that cute girl picks him up in the car, and then they fuck on like a
garbage can, right? Like a dumpster.
No, it's like a tunnel.
Yeah, like an underpass or a tunnel or something.
Yeah, which whenever you were like, takes him home, I'm like, she doesn't really take him home.
No, she takes him to like the side of the road.
Yeah.
She takes him to a spot under a bridge where they fuck.
They fuck in the designated fuck spot.
If you look above where they're having sex, it says fuck.
Yeah.
This is
designated fuck spot. He goes, I know the perfect place.
It's called the fuck spot.
That's
where you fuck.
Designated fuck spot would be a great band name.
Welcome.
We're designated fuck spot, and we're here to...
Welcome to fuck. Yeah.
I want them to be a ska band.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we already talked about the bar. Does anyone have anything they want to say about her singing New York, New York? Is that the name of the song?
Yeah.
It's a very intimate shot.
Well,
of
it's
her
all
face.
it's all shot. It's all shot in real time. The two actors had Michael Fassbender and his boss. I can't remember the actor's name. They had never heard her sing before. They shot that at 3 a.m. and had 3 cameras rolling simultaneously. So their reaction is honest in real time. So it's that was pretty wild.
Look, Liza Minnelli could fucking butt out a fucking tune quicker than that, and it probably sounded better. Yeah.
Would it make you cry, though?
This isn't cabaret.
Would it make me cry? She fucking sung that song in New York, New York. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that movie makes you cry for different reasons.
That movie is not very good, but it's an easy gig, though. Get to sing one song really, really slow.
And then just
you're
get to
done.
have a drink.
Yeah, you're like, oh, cool.
That
awesome.
is true.
Yeah.
I did write that down. I thought it was I wonder how much she got paid. Unless she just got paid.
Do you think that she only did one song and didn't just cut to...
She went up, she sang her one song.
I feel like she was singing the whole night. And then they just happened to catch her last song.
Yeah, no.
That's what I thought it was.
They showed up late?
I could only assume.
Well,
he finally goes to her show, shows up late, catches the last song, and then they book it out of there. Let's say you do something bad at work, and your boss finds out. How do you want that conversation to go? Do you know what I mean? You walk into work, you say the boss needs to see you, and you go into her office.
Well, no, you say, like, in the scope of possibility, what's the worst thing that you could be found out doing at work?
There you go. That's a way to say it.
Oh, okay. Well, no, look, then the scope is far too broad, though, because it could be like, well, no, I've got the body of his child under my desk. for whatever
Oh
reason.
my God.
Yeah.
Before we get into this, I just remembered this one time I was telling a coworker about Ed Gein, and
As
you
you do.
do.
and he looked up on the work computer about Ed Gein, and there was like a list of all the things that Ed Gein had in his house, and he thought that vulva meant uvula. And so he clicked on something that said vulva and realized that it was part of a lady's anatomy.
Oh, dear.
And it came up in the image search on his computer. He didn't get in trouble or anything because the company he worked for wasn't very good at monitoring what we were looking at, but I just think it's really funny that he was looking at
I think that would be
vulvas.
really interesting if you worked for a company that did flag the word vulva. Like,
Yeah.
who's searching that on Pornhub?
Well, and I
Yeah.
think that he didn't actually search it. He just, like, clicked on, like, you know, those linked parts of the Wikipedia
Oh,
page.
okay.
But it came up with a picture of it.
It's like those memes that you see about like little kids Googling trying to look up boobs,
Right.
and they don't know how to look up boobs.
Bobbies. Yeah.
Bobbies,
Yeah. Sweet beer bobbies.
lady bobbies, Ninja Turtles,
Show me that cervix.
vulva.
My
Volvo.
my 3-year-old nephew's favorite word right now is boobies. He just keeps saying it over and over again.
Him and Charles Band.
Yeah, that guy.
Did
done.
you hear about this? This is I'll detour this just for a second. Charles Band of Full Moon Features fame, who did like Puppet Master and all of those movies. He was on Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs a few month or so ago with the movie Head of the Family. Mm-hmm. And this 70-year-old man in earnest says boobies so many times it makes me want to fucking die. Like,
Yeah, not boobs, not breasts, not chest,
like even
not
if that
nipples.
dude said tits would have been less icky than this man saying boobies over and over.
Yeah, he's like, so we took this mechanical tongue and it took like 3 men to like lick her boobie.
And he's not like smirking when he says it. He's not being silly. Like that's what he says in life.
That's the word.
It's
that
real
he
gross,
uses.
and it makes me.
What would be the preferred term though? Because boobies to me sounds like it can be like that's fun. It's jovial. Boobies.
But it's just when used
It's-
in excess, it's like
Yeah, if you
kind of
used it,
weird.
if it was
Okay.
used once, it would be okay. But this
Yeah.
guy said this like a dozen times.
Because like I wouldn't want to use tits. Like if you use tits, like in the sort of frequency that you use boobies, you
Is
know,
it such a hard consonant?
it's such a really it's such a hard term as well. It's like I want to see your tits. It's like all right, okay.
I want to see your boobies. I'm certainly less threatened.
That's true.
Yeah, certainly, obviously, the tone in which I want to see your tits. Like,
But I
maybe
mean,
is
this
that
was
better?
I mean, even though it is a silly, like, being Joe Bob Briggs and they're talking about these horror movies, it still is vaguely academic because they are talking about how they made these movies.
Right.
So I think that in that scenario, it probably would have been better if he said breast. Like,
Fair.
Okay.
because,
Keep it clinical. Keep
Yeah.
it doctoral. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
breast, nipple,
like me during sex.
areola.
Yeah.
Do you want me to touch your areola?
Yeah.
There you go.
Dump out your breasts.
Dump out.
Dump 'em out.
Anyway,
When
whatever
Michael
works.
Fassbender gets called into his boss's office, he's trying to be cool, just talk about why he wasn't in on time this morning, and it's because he had a root canal, which is a lie. Then he brings up the fact that his computer was real dirty.
It was riddled. Yeah.
with viruses and boobies.
Yep.
Covered in boobies.
Well,
Yeah.
I
He
like
didn't
that
say boobies.
No, he did
I
not.
like that the
No.
boss rattles off all of these different things that were like videos that were on it.
Yeah. He's
But
like,
then he punctuates it with cream pies. I don't even know what that is. That
Yes.
douchebag 100% knows what that fucking is.
Ryan, what did he say?
I'm talking like hoes, sluts, anal, double anal, penetration, interracial facial man, and cream pie. And obviously he doesn't know what cream pie means.
Yeah, he 100% knows what.
Yeah, that guy's a liar. When
he has
doesn't know what
kids
that
for
means.
crying out loud.
I mean, to be fair, like having a
Wait.
Skype window open to his child,
I
and then
love
say,
that.
like cream pie is the only thing that comes out of there in that situation that might be obviously fine.
What exactly is a cream pie, though? Like, is it, like, just bukkake?
So-
Or... Can you please explain this to me in a clinical manner?
So a cream pie would be as if you ejaculate into an orifice and you don't pull out beforehand and it drips out. Mm-hmm. That's what a cream
it's
pie
literally
would be.
just coming inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it.
And you make sure you show...
You got to show it coming out.
You got to show it coming out, otherwise it's,
Yeah. Otherwise,
yeah.
viewers will
That's-
revolt.
Yeah, otherwise...
Wait, that's what makes it a cream pie.
This does not
You have-
deserve to be in the category.
You
Right.
have to
Yes.
show the
Flag.
semen.
You gotta have some
Mhm.
proof.
Yeah,
Visual
you
proof.
just gotta fart it out or something like so.
God.
It has to happen.
She, like,
Yeah.
So
She has to like wiggle the semen.
Yeah,
out.
jostle.
either way, yeah, or
Why don't you?
Jostle.
Yeah.
Why don't you look it up?
or gravity.
Look it up on your work computer.
Oh yeah. I'll wait. I'll wait
Yeah.
till I get home and look it up at my work.
Do it on the family computer.
It's probably
You know,
already in
because
the search bar.
those incognito windows, they really work.
No, I don't know why. It's just like it's not that
Is he
he's like
saving all of these
no,
videos? Because I mean, this is still at a time where you could typically.
Wait, Josh just looked up cream pie and it's a picture
You know what?
of a pie.
It looks delicious.
nice. There you go.
Is it just whipped cream?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Well, the thing is, it is the safest porn category to have on your computer because it could end up taking you to a very literal cream pie.
I was looking
which
up
is,
recipes.
Yeah, like if you're talking to your kid on the phone, it's just like, wow, that's a fantastic cream pie. It's
What
like,
have you got for us, Josh?
There we go.
Looking forward.
Oh dear.
Um,
You're really looking it up. Okay.
I was really looking at.
I like. Well, this is what I was really looking for. Was an
Yeah.
illustration.
Oh.
I don't want to be gross.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get flags for that online.
The little
This is-
star for
well,
the
no, this
butthole.
is
Yeah.
this is
It's a
we
nice
are-
animation.
We are an educational podcast, so
Ryan,
you know
need to
where the
redo
library is.
You need to redo the indent for this one.
No, the indent I made for this episode is my favorite of all the indents we've done. It's just Fassbender crying. So
I think it's your favorite part of the movie too, Katie.
Oh yeah, continue sobbing.
Yeah.
Was the caption.
Fassbender takes Marianne, his co-worker, I believe, or someone who works in his office, out on a date. After that weird moment where she goes up to him in the coffee break room and asks him if he likes sugar. Which I thought was a
Yeah.
weird comment.
that is the weirdest
But
moment.
he goes, "This is it. This is my in. I'm taking her out." And
Yeah.
he takes her out on a date, like a proper date, to a nice restaurant. He shows
Well,
up late and everything.
Here's the thing. Yeah.
He lurks outside for a bit
Mm-hmm.
just to watch her be by herself.
Yep.
Yes.
And then he's like, "Blah, hey."
he is
That's not
She
the
still
first
ends up
time.
fucking
Yes.
him later. Not even that night. Later, like she still makes a conscious choice. Well,
It was
attempts
like
to anyway.
within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
Yes.
were vibing during the dinner. Like they
Yeah.
had some common interests and
She was
Yes.
pretty judgmental of his lifestyle.
yeah, but rightfully so.
I don't
because
disagree, but I'm
she's
still
like
surprised she fucked him.
she's like a normal, well-adjusted human, and so
Yeah.
of course she's gonna have some.
No. I understand that, but I'm just surprised that she still hooked up with him, given how judgmental she was being.
Well, that's fair. I mean,
But
that whole.
he held back at the end of the date, like didn't kiss her, so she was like, I don't think he's interested in me.
Well, to be fair, after the date, it was all lukewarm, but he makes a pass at her at work. And
Which
then
is
that's what
hugely inappropriate, but it
that's
worked for
what-
her.
I mean, it worked to the extent that he rented a room out, and they ended up in that. Well, I mean, she was there for 20 minutes, and then obviously he uses up the rest of the room to get his money's worth.
I really want to
yeah.
stop you there because I don't want to move away from the restaurant
Yeah.
until we talk about the waiter.
No,
The waiter.
No. But
I want to
look,
talk about the waiter.
look, Laura, we're in Steve McQueen time here. It's all wibbly wobbly. We can jump back and forth.
We can jump back
as
and
much
forth
as
just
we
like Steve
can.
McQueen.
It's
Yes.
very non-linear.
Yeah. So
I want to talk about that waiter so badly. He asks them rudely if they want to start off with sparkling water. He's really trying to get that bill up. right off the bat. You got to pay for that.
Well, you always upmarket if you're a waiter. Plus, they're in New York as well. I mean,
that's his job.
That's just fucking. That's
he's just doing his job.
But the thing is, he is doing his job. But we will be adamantly sure here he's not particularly good at his job.
No. It makes me wonder: is this an acting choice? You know, because he's like, okay, I got this one scene, baby, and I know this is my first day as a waiter. And I'm gonna make it. Everyone know that's my first day as a waiter.
I thought about this. I thought about this after this scene had passed, and it's kind of like you know how like people's relationships, how they start, like how the match is lit and things. Like you never really remember the good dates that you have. Like at least there you've got a waiter there who's a fucking incompetent imbecile, and you'll always remember that. And it was like, this is the first time we met, we had this conversation. But they never kind of seem to vibe off of that because they're also in their own little world, this little bubble where he's just this non-committal. Like he just can't fathom being with someone any longer than he feels like he's able to be. Like he just can't deal with it.
He's a non-monogamous human being.
Yes.
I used to run the volunteer program for the Florida Film Festival, and I had a long-time volunteer who we're now friendly. Like, whenever we see one another, we'll catch up for one. I don't know. No, what?
What kind of friendly?
Like acquaintances.
Describe this
that we will catch up with what has been going on in our lives over the 18 months since we've seen each other last. Jesus.
Could you not just say, oh, we're friends, and we met
friends.
through the program?
We're not really friends, though.
Oh, for fuck's sake, why does there have to be all these...
Tell us his name.
All these
it's a woman who's she's like 60.
Right.
And no, but it was funny though because she told me, she's like, actually, you're a very intimidating looking man, but then you start talking.
Oh.
It's like, I think she meant it as a compliment, but it really didn't come off as one.
Well, just as you know, most women are afraid of men. You know?
I mean,
so,
sure.
you know, that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it definitely had the feeling of like, wow, I thought you were like a psychopath, but turns out you're just a pussy. Like, it definitely had that kind of vibe to the comment.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I have a very present resting bitch face because it really it saves me time because I am scary to a lot of men. So
I had someone say that to me recently as well, that a couple of coworkers were saying, like, don't you get hit on at work? You've got to get hit on at work. And then I said, I've never been hit on at work. And they go, well, yeah, because you're scary.
Yeah, it's same.
And I thought,
I'm
intimidating?
I've never received an unsolicited dick pic because...
Me either.
Because we're scary.
We are scary, and I didn't get my first dick pic until I was 30, and he asked permission first.
What a gentleman.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I would be like, no, thank you.
No, I said no, because I wanted to be pure forever.
Yeah.
But now...
Wow.
I'm not. Go. Oh, well.
I'm still pure.
Speaking of purity, I thought this scene was very strange. So Brandon does take Marianne to a hotel for sexies. Okay? Mm-hmm. And it's very strange because I didn't see this from his character, and I didn't remember it happening until we watched it again today. Mm-hmm. But before he goes to get sexy with Marianne, he does a line of coke in the bathroom of the hotel.
Yes.
Which I think is a very poor choice. And we were discussing it during the movie because I didn't see this from his character. I thought it was very strange. And also, when you do cocaine, boners are hard to get.
Yeah, they're hard to maintain.
Finishing. If you do manage to get a boner when you're on cocaine, finishing is also very difficult.
Yeah.
And I think that's his goal, right?
Yeah, anything you might have learned from movies about drug dealers or drug users and stuff like that, fucking on cocaine is not a fun experience. It's a taut, flaccid, very unexciting. Yeah, you just end up it's just a lot of like thumbing in softies. Like it just doesn't really work.
Oh no. This thumbing in softies, I hate that.
Well, have you never heard about that before?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never heard it said like that.
I've never heard it said like that. and it just hurts to think about.
I think, though, that's actually, it makes sense, though, because that starts to be the turning point for him, where it starts really going to shit.
Yes.
Where all of it starts catching up in his just destructive lifestyle, which it is.
Yes.
I mean, it's not he's not just some free spirit who's like, I'm cool fucking everyone. Cause I mean, it all seems like it's consensual, but it's also...
There's hired hands.
There's a bit of an ickiness to it where...
It's completely impacting on his quality of life.
It's just a chore. It's like something that he does to maintain like a level of just like disassociation.
Yeah.
Like he is a sex addict, so he does sex things to cope with life, to make it bearable, but it's not something that he sees as like anything linked to actual intimacy.
Right.
Or even just satisfaction or joy. Like, it doesn't even have to, like, he doesn't seem to, there's no point where it's like, he's like, job well done. You know?
It's literally a means to an end. And
there's no pleasure, there's no intimacy, there's no connection with the people that he's with, which I think is maybe what I always thought this scene was about, where he's with Marianne. It's someone he actually likes. It's someone he could see potentially connecting with. And so I don't know if it's... I always thought that he couldn't, like, get hard and he couldn't have sex with her because he did care about her. Mm-hmm. But then I remembered the cocaine. And so it was maybe, and you've said it, Ryan, you thought it was maybe a bit of self-sabotage.
Yeah, that's what I thought was kind of going on there.
So,
well, the minute you saw him taking the line of cocaine, it's the only moment in the movie where we haven't really seen him do any of that stuff before.
No.
And it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we know what the effect of this might have on his bonerage.
Well, he never puts anything good into his body either. You either see him drinking Red Bulls, coffee, eating Chinese food, and drinking beer. Like, he doesn't... That's
true.
He doesn't actually, I don't even think he actually eats anything. It's only alcohol and caffeine.
Yeah.
So, he's not a healthy person, mentally or physically.
No.
But yeah, I did think that perhaps you were right, but it definitely looked like self-sabotage there. Because I don't know, I thought they could have been nice together, those two. Maybe she could have helped him out a little bit.
She could fix him.
Yeah, she could fix him, right? It was funny because I remembered that actor, and I was like, I know her from somewhere. And it's from this movie. I know her from this movie.
No.
Like, I recognized her from the film we were currently watching. I was like, oh yeah, that's her. I like that part. But that hotel actually is interesting because they filmed that hotel sex scene, after she leaves. So he can't get an erection, right? And he's bummed out. And I think there's many men out there who this has happened to, where nothing a woman says can ever help the situation. There's no boner happening. No words that come out of her mouth is going to help. It's not like, do you need, it's okay.
It's like telling an angry woman to calm down.
Yeah.
It's exact same thing.
I mean, whenever I've encountered this, I just go with, there.
Oh, yeah.
Just pat him on the shoulder.
Oh, patronizing, right? That's just,
See,
that'll work.
No.
Jesus
What if
Christ.
you say,
Trying
it's
to make
okay.
him laugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing is, like, try to turn it into a joke.
Yeah.
That's best case.
What
You
if
just,
we
like,
just read
whisper
some,
to it. Come on, little buddy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Poke.
Are you alive?
Come on, little buddy.
Wake up! A snail with a stick.
Yeah.
I've got a headache. Please, just leave me be.
Well, she just straight leaves, and he's like, I'll walk you downstairs. And she goes, no, that's okay, which I thought was interesting because, I don't know, I thought they had a little thing going. I thought that she was into him, and I thought that it was weird on her part to maybe not be a little bit more...
The thing is, the relationship, as much as you're kind of...
I'm putting a lot on it.
It's laying it on relatively quite
I just want him
thick.
to be happy.
She didn't seem particularly pleased at the end of the first date, and then he initiated something that then led to something else, and then he didn't deliver.
He also took her out of work during office hours.
Well, and also...
She's got work to do.
She asked if he wants her to leave, and so she's kind of wanting him to say, no, you can stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't reciprocated a whole bunch.
And he's like...
She's not the villain in this situation. It's kind of, yeah.
She's trying to gauge, and, like, the fact that he says, you should go, Like, I think that's why she's like, you don't have to walk me down. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
she sees that as like, okay, this is done. Like,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't the end of his time because he's not going to let that hotel room go to waste.
Yeah,
He has sex with that woman against the window of the hotel. So what I was going to say is that hotel has kind of become famous for window sex because they shot that in the middle of the day. And there was people on the street that could see them.
They were like waving to him between takes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're up against boobies, up against the window. You can see them from the street. So people have booked that hotel specifically ever since then to fuck against the windows.
and is that the same hotel that he walks past and sees someone?
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking?
Yeah, I think that's why you got the idea from. Well, that's what he was fucking around watching that instead of going to the dinner date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why he was late. He was like, oh, there's
Yeah, yeah.
That's where he got the idea.
Yeah, it's where he got the idea.
That's the fun thing about living in a city. You always gotta look up because you never know what you're gonna see. I've never seen anything like that yet, but I want to.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
So back in 2013, why am I bringing this up?
boy.
Yeah, what the fuck. So in 2013, I was filming a music video in the grass market, which obviously you and me, Laura, know relatively quite well.
Yes.
And we were out and we had, we were doing a music video. We had a guy out there with a sign, and there was me and another couple of ladies. But in the span of about like 15 minutes, we were approached by two strippers who were promoting the strip bar just a little bit further up the road, and they were completely in their scants, other than they had these two trench coats on, and they were flashing folk as they went past.
Oh.
Yes, so that completely happened. And then literally maybe about 20 or 30 seconds after, there's a hotel just a little bit across the road from where we were, and there was a hen do going on, and all of them must have had showers, and at whatever point, because of the nature of the sign that I'd written up, they all started to derobe, and we could all see them all.
Cool.
And the power of a sign is all I will say.
Wait,
but yes.
What was the sign?
I think it just said get your coat.
Oh, you're taking him home.
Yes.
See, we don't need coats here, so.
No, not in Florida. Not in Florida. Well, I don't know. What would you say? Get your boat? I mean, I don't know. Like, what would you say?
We gotta...
Get your gun. When I saw Shame for the first time, I was living in Texas. I was in Austin, and there was a theater called the Violet Crown that was basically the same model as Alamo Drafthouse, but not as they were trying to sell themselves a little more upscale. Like that was kind of the deal, but it was still a cinema cafe, more high end food and like fancy cocktails, that sort of thing. But I went and saw Shame there, but I also saw The Descendants, like a double feature.
Interesting.
That's a weird
the George
feature.
Clooney Alexander Payne movie.
Yeah.
And that was weird. But I do remember that I saw Shame first because I had about 20 minutes in between movies, and it was actually, the theater was located at the top of a parking garage. So it was like 7, 8, 9 floors up, maybe something like that. So so there was a patio, kind of a balcony situation, overlooking the city downtown. And so I was just sitting out there, staring in the middle distance because I just finished Shame, and just kind of trying to absorb what I just watched and process a little bit. And this guy comes out and stands next to me and lights a cigarette, and I do not acknowledge him at all. And he just turns to me and he's looking at me. Like, I could tell he was looking at me.
Oh, boy.
But no, it wasn't bad. He just get out of Shame. And I said, yeah. He's like, yeah, you got that look.
So we all know how Steve McQueen likes these long takes, right? So this film has a slightly shorter one, not like the 17-minute unbroken hunger shot that we have.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved it.
This one is 6 minutes and 15 seconds. It's that scene shot from behind Brandon and Sissy where they're having the conversation on the couch.
Okay.
It is apparently 6 minutes long, and that's that conversation that they have where Brandon is slut-shaming Sissy about having sex with his boss.
Yeah.
And explaining that,
You know he's married, right?
it's like, your boss is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And if you cared about your sister, you would maybe say, hey, he kind of sucks.
I don't think he cares about his sister, though, at all.
I mean, think he does.
I think he's working on... I don't think he...
He doesn't want her to be dead, at least.
Right, but I mean...
I think it's just him keeping every single person in his life at arm's length, which is why he doesn't want to bring her back into the fold, because she's also so chaotic.
I didn't time it, and I meant to this time, because actually the date... with Marianne, that is a single take as well.
It is very long,
and it's crazy because there's an incredibly slow push-in that's almost imperceptible unless you're looking for it. I mean, it actually is more drastic than when we talked about this a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. It does move in more than I remembered it, but it's still so fucking slow. I don't think it's as long as Hunger. But it's got to be pushing 8-9 minutes.
Well, the thing is, there's not a lot of scenes that are as long as that thing in Hunger.
Yeah, that
happens.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, anything longer than that in Hunger ends up having some level of significance for it. Mm-hmm. But like stylistically, I kind of feel like Steve McQueen's stuff is that, you know, he'll do things in a oneer. You're not really 100% sure of it ever really changing. It just kind of develops as it's going along.
I think he has a really, really great talent, though, for keeping it from seeming theatrical. It still feels cinematic. Yeah. And it's very rare that a single take, unless you're moving the camera around a lot, like Paul Thomas Anderson or Martin Scorsese, it tends to feel a little theatrical to me, and it doesn't at all, and I don't really put my finger on why.
Usually those shots are pretty static, but there's also one shot in 12 Years a Slave where they're in the market, when you first see, like, Cumberbatch, but he's moving the camera all around, he's following everybody all around, but that's also one take that's really, really long, too. So, but I love that for him, because it's something, again, that you don't feel it, you don't feel like, oh, wow, because it's typically so engaging, whatever you're watching, but you're not thinking like, he hasn't moved the camera.
I don't mean this in any kind of disparaging way, but like that long shot in Goodfellas, it feels like it's a spectacle. It's not as much about the content of what the characters. It's really, look at this cool thing I'm able to do, which is cool. It's iconic. It's a great shot, but there's something about the way that McQueen does it that's just,
well, it's like intimate.
Yeah, I don't think that unless you were looking for it, it's really easy to not notice all of them.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
Yeah.
This is kind of the part of the film where things really start to break down in an intense manner, where he, you know, his tenuous life at this point just becomes completely unhinged. You know, he was like working towards an unhinging situation, and then it just like falls apart. So this is when, you know, you've seen him so far going into nice bars and nice cocktail establishments, and then he ends up at like a
fucking real New York.
Yeah, he's like all of a sudden in Cruising or something.
Yeah, he's at the bar from Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I'm getting my dick sucked. Like,
he's
and I don't care by who.
Yeah, he's suddenly in
could be anyone.
Yeah,
he's suddenly in the interpretation of the deleted content from Cruising, directed by James Franco.
Yeah.
Wait, is that where he goes first? Sorry, I was thinking about when he went to talk to that girl.
I'm gonna say this maybe for the.
Well, it's non-linear. Like it's all.
I was thinking of the part with where he goes up to that girl in the bar that has the boyfriend, and he's talking about, I don't know.
He's talking about eating her pussy, and then he sticks his hand down her pants.
Yes.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. And he gets in there.
He does get in there.
He gets real in there. Like, probably ignores the clitoris, I would imagine. Just goes straight for the vulva.
Straight in, knee kissing.
Into that.
She seemed to like it though.
That vaginal canal.
It was actually it was really upsetting to me how like she was kind of okay with all that.
Yeah, she was definitely down. She walked up. They made eye contact. He did his little Fassbender look.
Yeah.
Panties dropped. She was in.
Just from the sheer weight of the liquid that came out of her.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend's behind her, shooting pool or something, doing whatever that boys do. And the boyfriend comes up. This is flashing back and forth to him being like beat up. And he says to the boyfriend how he's going to stick his balls in her mouth and come on her face.
Yeah.
Which I love because we've all seen what that man is working with. And there's no way it would go straight over the top of her head.
He would have to aim up, and then it comes down.
down.
It's kind of like when your windshield wiper fluid isn't like
Perfectly aligned.
Yeah, it goes over
the top
of the car.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what would happen with his dick. Like,
Yep.
Or, I mean, he could catch it in his hand and then just woof, just like
smear
slap it back down. Yeah.
Like Spider-Man it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whip.
I call that the Spider-Man.
There you
You're
go.
welcome.
And then he's out there looking for love in any place that'll give it to him.
All the wet
Yeah.
places.
All the wet places.
I mean,
They're all moist.
Yeah.
Every place he goes after that scene is moist.
very moist.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tries to get into a bar club.
Well, to be fair,
And-
after that bar sequence, though, he gets the shit kicked out of him, which he kind of deserves.
Right. And that's when he's
Yeah.
trying to get into anywhere that'll take him, and when he ends up locking eyes with a dude across the street to get into that.
Wait, let's not pass over the fact that he pulls his hand out of this girl's pants and holds up his fingers to her boyfriend and asks him to smell.
Yeah, after he says he's gonna fuck her in the ass, and he's like, kind of giving it all a pass, like this guy's drunk. He's just he's like, no, here, and like, not. I mean, he like shoves his fingers on that guy,
Yeah.
like it's he. No.
It's pretty grotesque.
It's pretty
And he
gross.
has, he has.
I think, Ryan, you were saying the whole time, you're like, he needs to get slapped. And you were saying it right before he was saying all that horrible shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's fine. The girl's
needs a
into
slap.
it. It's a consensual kind of
Yeah.
gross situation. And then he starts being really shitty to the
Well, no, I mean-
boyfriend. And I go,
no.
okay. If Fassbender came up to me and was saying stuff to me, I wouldn't,
If Fassbender pulls out, it's just like, oh, fucking done that. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with the fucking.
This escalated quickly, but keep talking.
I'd be like,
I'm interested.
you've just threatened
You
me.
gonna
You're
turn
gonna
down
be
a
like, I'm gonna-
Fassbender chat? No.
What do you mean? What, the anal assault and the fucking finger sniffing? And he's got that manic smile on his face when
Yeah.
he's done it?
He's like the Joker.
It's literally
like
like,
he's like the young
alright.
Joker in the 1989 Batman.
Yeah.
He's like the Joker if the Joker was a sex addict.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Into that. You can't tell me that no one in this room is.
I mean,
That's
I get
fine.
it.
That's fine. No, put me in the situation where I've got to defend myself from fucking Michael Fassbender.
I think it depends
Christ.
on the day.
Get myself into a fight, ends up on TMZ. It's like, oh, Scotsman fucking fights Magneto. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do there? Christ.
Wow.
Anyway, he goes on a sex tear. Yeah, he goes on a sex tear.
He sure does.
Yeah.
He goes into that cruise and that it's not even a bar. It's like a glory hole factory.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, it was a glory hole.
Like they don't even mop that joint at the end of the night. They just throw out hoses and spray it all down.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like in
Like
Hunger.
like a kennel. Yeah, it's like a kennel.
it's a fuck kennel.
A fuck kennel.
They get the power washer out like they did in
Yeah.
Hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems pretty romantic. That's like the most romantic scene out of the whole film, in my opinion.
When he's angrily getting his dick sucked by that dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I like it.
Aye.
Again, the amount of sex, the amount of nips, dicks, and butts that are in this movie, it still makes it like the least erotic film
Yeah.
Oh my god.
in existence.
No.
Like, I'm watching it and I'm getting no tingles. Like, nothing's happening at all. And you're watching all this crazy
It's
stuff.
pretty
And
graphic.
and you said, Ryan, you go, isn't there a threesome in this film? And I go, I don't remember. And then boom.
It is the saddest threesome
The
ever.
saddest,
Yeah.
the music.
With the music.
It's
It's
just,
because of the score. Like if there was any other song,
If it was the Benny Hill score, it wouldn't have been as sad.
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
and then his
Yeah.
crying face while he's just like almost
Well,
in
I mean,
tears.
yeah, not
like-
the not the
But it's
crying
also-
face,
it's
the
also,
sex
like,
face.
the way that the threesome is filmed, it's so zoomed in to
Yeah. Yes,
it
everything. It's very like claustrophobic.
It's kind of hard to tell what you're looking at
I'm
times.
like,
Yeah.
is this someone's
Like-
ass? Is this someone's vagina? Like the only thing you can really tell is whenever he's like eating the girl's butthole. Like
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that's a butt.
and he's like going to
but-
fucking town.
but-
Like,
Yes.
But like,
Well, yeah,
also,
he's out all night pumping.
also
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
overlaid with his sister leaving him a voicemail that sounds like really desperate. And
Yeah, the old suicide voicemail.
Yeah.
While you're having a threesome.
and
I've been there.
And I was just like, oh no, this is getting to a really sad point. Like, there's no place in this where you're like, yeah, this is gonna have resolution. This is gonna turn out okay for everyone.
The music swelling, and then this, the butts,
He's
the
just-
buttholes.
It's not the only thing swelling.
His angry coming.
Yeah, and then the regret,
Yeah,
like on his
he's got
face
like his
when the
sexy
music hits.
overbite face with the grimace.
Oh,
yeah.
don't like that. I don't like that. It was
Yeah,
like
look,
that
it's
weird,
the-
and because he's like looking at himself in probably a mirror or something, like this anti-Patrick Bateman moment, where he's just crying instead of luxuriating in his muscles.
Yeah. He's ripping and dipping. He's just getting it done.
He's ripping and dipping.
Gross.
Yeah.
Make it on company time. Ripping and dipping.
And it gets to the part where he is on the train, on the subway to go home at some point, and
this looks like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like it's
city
like,
that never
Yeah.
sleeps.
Yeah.
And the train is stopped and everyone has to get off because there's been an accident. And so you immediately think, okay, it's like that classic Chekhov's gun type of situation, because earlier in the film you saw Sissy standing right at the edge of the platform of the subway, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, get away from there, are you crazy? And then you have someone that has obviously thrown themselves in front of the train. You go,
Right.
oh, God. There you go.
Yeah.
She's gone and done it. He runs home. And nope, just kidding. She slit her wrists.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's
Well, it's
something...
the triggering moment for him to be thinking a little bit more logically, like about the voice messages he'd been receiving. So.
Yeah, like I was like, does he think that she threw herself on the tracks, or does he think that she's done something and he needs to get home right away to make sure she's there?
I think it's the latter. I don't think that he thought that she threw herself.
You don't think so?
No.
I thought
I
she
think
did.
I think that
No.
that's the turning point where he stops thinking about himself for a goddamn minute and realizes, oh shit, this is what's happening in the world, and
Because like I kind of feel like he was trying to get home to make sure she wasn't the one on the tracks.
That's what I thought, because he was calling her and calling
Yeah.
her after he was like, oh, wait a second. I don't know. I mean, it would be... I thought that was the trigger moment for him to go,
Well,
okay,
the only issue I'd have.
what if I lose her?
I mean,
You know,
I
it's
think
like the
that I
only
think
person
that's
that actually
absolutely
knows
true.
me.
I just don't think that he thought that she did that way.
No. Because at no point does the film ever kind of allude itself to the fact that if that did happen, it's kind of, to us, it feels a little bit more intelligent that we're like, oh, we remember that bit from before. This triggers in his own mind to then kind of think about this. It's more of a Hollywood moment where we're thinking, there's his reaction. There it is that's happening. Oh my God, there's our legs just sticking out.
Oh, if
from
I
the-
saw that would be a fuck this movie. I don't care everything that I
Yes.
saw before it. That
Yeah.
I would be writing that movie off.
Yeah.
Like I would be so angry if that's
Yeah.
how that fucking ended.
Like one
Yeah.
star. Like it
Like,
would just, it's the same.
yeah.
It's the same reason why like the Hollywood version of the Bicycle Thieves just would not work. Like it just wouldn't work at all.
Okay.
I don't know. He understood.
I got it.
When he finally gets home and sees her, blood everywhere,
In that very white room,
so white.
and
Yes.
she's wearing,
She's
all,
wearing
white.
all white.
Yeah,
I
Gotta
really
make
wish
it
he.
stark.
I really
yeah.
wish he would
It's
have
like a
gotten
White
some
Stripes
towels.
video.
Or
I mean, she lived.
she did.
She woke up.
She
She wasn't in a
did.
coma. She called him a shithead.
Yes.
There you go.
Which made you kind of feel like when he's rubbing his hands up and down her arms and stuff, like how many times she's tried to kill herself.
Well, they mentioned that earlier when
Yeah.
the boss, the douchebag boss, like, oh, what did he do? It's like I was bored as a kid.
yeah.
Must have been
pretty
real bored.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
also, like, whenever he catches her in the, like, he comes home and, like, she's in the shower, and the first time that we see her and she's, like, naked, you see that she has, like, hospital
Hospital bands on her
bands
wrist.
on
Yeah.
her wrist.
Right.
I didn't notice
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He sees that girl again. I think we mentioned that earlier. The
Yeah.
same redhead from earlier, the beginning of the film, is certainly more keen when he sees her again on the train. And is it going back and forth again in time at this point? I know because he left the hospital and was doing that heavy sobbing as well towards the end of the film.
Yeah,
well, this is
the end after he left the hospital, right?
Because after he sobs on the near the pier and stuff, he's all still bloody.
Pure acting, right there.
Yes.
Some
okay.
heavy acting.
But then, effectively, the film starts to repeat at the point where he's at the subway, where it's the exact same shot as before, and then he's on the train, and he still has the scars that he's had from the preceding days. So.
Yeah. So he's healed up from getting punched in the face by that boyfriend, and that's when he sees that same girl from the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
So, but this time she's really wanting him to take her home.
She's in no hesitation whatsoever. She's probably
still married.
Yeah, she still has a ring, right?
Yes.
But that's where it ends. So
well,
you don't know.
This is his turning point moment. This is where he can
maybe
not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Well, I mean, the ending is ambiguous, so we're not really sure. We're not really sure.
We just feel really bad.
Would it make us feel better if we're like he doesn't?
I mean, really, his biggest crime is that he lacks empathy.
Yeah.
He's not anything he's engaging with none of it's non-consensual. He seems to pay top dollar. Good for him.
Yeah.
You know, he
definitely
seems,
tips.
If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna have that lifestyle, I think that he's doing it the best way, the most ethical way that a person like him could.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he fucks the girl against the window and she's having trouble getting her bra on, he's like, "Do you need help with that?"
Right.
She's like, "No, I'm good." And so he's polite.
He opened the door for a woman with a trolley, or it was like a baby carriage at one point.
Well,
Gentleman?
I mean, he's unkind to his sister, but really he's only unkind to her because she is crossing his personal lines.
Right.
Do I think that that's a good thing? Probably not. Be a better person. But
well, she's also not treating him very well.
He's not actively being a shitty person to her.
I mean, as far as
outside of being just dismissive.
As far as alignments go, I would put him as lawful neutral and her as chaotic good, because she wreaks chaos wherever she goes.
Wow. In terms of awards, this film has won. It's won several. It was, obviously more on the independent circuit than anything else because of its rating, unfortunately, with an idiotic rating. But probably the most prestigious award that Michael Fassbender won for this was Best Actor at the Florida Film Critics Awards.
Really? I know some people who are part of that.
Well done.
So
bravo Fassbender for that award.
Do you think that the NC-17 rating is warranted?
No.
No, I don't either.
But that's because that's an inherent problem that we have in the rating system in this country, is that if you show a dick, it turns up as it's excessive sexual themes or something but it's not. It's a penis.
Right. They're all fucking Baptists.
They watch this and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I saw a dick. I can't see the dick."
Well, it's completely unfair. It doesn't make sense. The whole thing needs to be revamped and revisited, because if you have a dick in a movie, and I think that it's more prevalent if you have some sort of dramatic film, especially with themes like this, rather than a comedy film.
Yeah.
So if a comedy dick, you can keep your R. We've got plenty of comedy dicks in movies. You got The Hangover.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes to mind.
Twice. You see his dick. You see Jason Segel's dick more in Forgetting Sarah Marshall than you do see Michael Fassbender's in Shame.
I think that, to your point, that it's because it's fucking sad. And that's really what they have a real problem with, is they don't want anybody to think that the world's a bad place.
It's egregious.
And really, the difference between NC-17 or R, what, are kids gonna go fucking see it? Either way,
I mean, you would have.
Yeah. That's true. But
probably one of the main things kind of presiding over an NC-17 for the movie is the fact that it's not an American funded film whatsoever. It's a British funded film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like lottery funded and it's Film 4 funded. So that's probably one of the primary reasons why it did not ring particularly well in the United States, is because of the...
Also, Fox Searchlight did not do a proper release for it. Luckily they did. They were cool and didn't make them cut it.
Yeah.
To get an R rating, but they had a $6 million budget and they bought it for $400,000. They never had a lot of faith in that.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
So let's go around and we're gonna rate it. So it's on a scale. You could do a 0 to 5 if you want, and we're gonna start with the dick scene. So from 0 to 5 in terms of visibility and context, 5 obviously being the highest. What would you give the dick scenes in this film? We can start with you, Katie.
I guess I'll do 4.
Okay.
Because we never see it erect, but he is a shower, not a grower.
I mean, that's an NC-17.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with giving it a 5. I think that the context is great. It's the music being played during it is sad, and it's a sad penis.
That's a sad penis.
And I mean that it's a sad penis attached to a sad man.
Oh yeah.
And I think that for what the scenes are trying to convey, I think it does an excellent job.
Great. Ryan?
I would probably give it 5, and kind of obviously to echo the sentiments of Josh and things. It's a very sad floppy dick that's kind of slapping against these thighs and things. The thing I really like about the moment, and it's the thing that we only kind of really hinted at a couple of, it's like it ends up in a piss.
Yeah, it's not sexual. It's one of the few scenes in the movie that's not sexual.
Yeah, and there's
actually weird. All the full frontal nudity is non-sexual.
Yes,
because same with Carey Mulligan, which
she's just
other than the
yeah.
prostitutes.
The prostitutes don't count.
All of the dick scenes. Yeah, I mean all of
sex
the
workers now.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
This is my favorite dick movie. I love Michael Fassbender. I love Steve McQueen, and what in talking in terms of. I don't want to say realism, but realism to the fact that man just woke up in the morning.
Yes.
And and people sleep naked. I don't know if everybody sleeps naked, but I know a lot of people do. You know what I mean?
He has the walk of somebody who's walking to the toilet.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. Like his stride.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that I like that,
Yeah.
He woke up, he's naked, he's going to take a pee. He's at home also, you're just relaxed at home. It's not one of those situations where you wake up and you wrap the sheet around you.
Right.
Which is such a common thing I see in films, and I hate that.
Yeah.
And also people tuck their sheets in. Can you imagine sleeping at someone's house and then you just take their whole sheet and you wrap it around yourself? Who's done that? Nobody does that. Anyway, That's my 2 cents. Let's go around for the last time and give our ratings for the film. Same scale, 0 to 5, 5 being the absolute best.
Give it a 5. Thank you.
Okay, Josh.
Same. I gave it a 5 on Letterboxd. Most of the Steve McQueen stuff ranks very, very high for me.
Absolutely,
big fan of it stylistically, and I like sad shit, and it doesn't get a whole lot sadder than this movie.
I laughed so much during this movie for some reason.
I laugh more than I do than 12 Years a Slave.
Well, it's like an uncomfortable laughter though.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the fact that he's like furiously having a threesome while he's getting a suicide voicemail, and also like this
it's not
score.
Funny, haha.
Well, when he's furiously masturbating and she walks in on him, that's funny.
That is funny.
She laughs.
The waiter is funny.
Yeah.
What wine did you get? And he's like, you already suggested the
Pinot.
Give us the Pinot.
The boss with being on the phone with his children, and then he's talking about like anal, double anal, interracial, whatever.
I was waiting for that kid to come back while he was listing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that it's sad in the way that life is sad. Like, I laugh at all kinds of things in life, but it's generally pretty shitty.
Yeah,
Just a coping mechanism.
Unlike Hunger and unlike 12 Years a Slave, there's actually relatable human elements in this movie that we can attain at some level of, like, we've not gone to prison. We've not become a political prisoner, and neither have either of us been a slave. So, I mean, we can also kind of relate a little bit closer to this and laugh at some of the more uncomfortable moments.
Yeah.
Certainly, I wasn't laughing when Paul Giamatti's like showing us round the slave room.
The slave room.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So.
Well, there's the human element that is threaded through all of his films, you know, and you always have that, like, that emotional connection to these people.
Yes, we can relate to all of his films on a
Yeah.
human level, just probably not on a personal level.
I want to go first before you with your rating because I'm really curious to see where this is going with you.
Yeah,
so
well, you know
I'm
it's
giving
gonna
it
be
a 5.
fucking
That's
epitaph.
easy. I love this movie. I love it. Everything it does. I've loved it since I saw it the first time. I love it now. It gets better every single time. Now, here's the thing with Brian is that Shame was the first Steve McQueen movie he'd ever seen. He didn't like it the first time he saw it.
I mean,
And
I
he
was
saw it
going to
before we
explain this
met.
whole situation, at least
And
so that I didn't feel like I was being ridiculed for it.
It's baffling to me that he didn't like this movie. But he
No,
also owned it.
It completely colored my opinion of his work because
Yeah, he
I
didn't-
really didn't like Shame at all.
You
First
didn't
time I
think
saw
you
it.
were going to like any of his films. Then
No,
we watched Hunger,
but
and you went...
here's the thing. Let me say my piece.
Okay.
But I think every time I've ever brought up Shame or someone else has brought up Shame, it's been like, well, you're a fucking idiot. Obviously, everyone likes Shame. What's your problem?
Right.
And I think the issue I have with Shame, and I feel like it's the same issue I've had with it the second time around as well, is that it didn't get its hooks directly into me from the off. Which is like what happened with Hunger, and less so with like 12 Years a Slave.
He's walking
at
around
least.
naked right in the beginning. How is
Well,
that
here's-
not a hook?
Well, here's the thing, and
cock will
obviously,
hook ya.
you know, it's all right. It's okay if I mean, yes, but one of the main issues is just for me is just the sense of just being able to get pulled into the story and a sense of relatability and just kind of getting myself into it. I love, like, stylistically what he does, and I like the way that he does it. I don't feel like there's certain elements of this that I feel like are 100% successful, but at the same time, there are things about this that I can appreciate. I mean, maybe at the time when I saw it the first time, I didn't fully appreciate it for what it was.
Okay. Okay.
So here's the thing. I think for the last 3 hours, I've been playing with either a 3.5 to 4 to 4.5, and rather than feeling like the person who's going to be ridiculed for the remainder of the time, I'll just give it a 4.5.
Oh, we've done
I'm going
it.
to ridicule you for not sticking to your guns. I like your. I think that your reasoning is completely valid.
Well,
No.
And I do
No.
agree. I fucking hate that whole like. What do you mean? Of course, everyone loves this. Go fuck yourself.
Yes,
like that's yeah.
Yes.
It's
Your,
like when
your
He's
subjective
talking-
opinion is objectively wrong.
He's talking about me.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm talking about you and a handful of other people who have entered our lives and kind of spoken about shame and things like that. I don't like feeling like I get pushed into a corner with things that are relatively quite populist. There you go.
Are you sure you want to stick? I know I'm a bully. I've been told this before. You want to
Well, the
stick with
thing
that
is-
4.5?
Well, the
Are
thing
you happy?
is like now,
you satisfied?
now that we've put ourselves in, it's no Hunger. Like I'm saying that right now, it probably deserves more of a 4 than a 4.5. But there's certain things about it that I genuinely quite appreciate now, looking at it from. I mean, when did the film come out? Like back in
2011.
2011. So I've obviously grown up a little bit since then.
No.
But there
haven't.
are issues I have with the film still standing now that I feel like I don't know if I could sit through and watch the film again, as much as we will be going to the screening.
You have. You will be
like,
watching
we're-
it.
I will
Really?
I will be
watching it.
watching it again, and maybe
weeks.
I'll appreciate it a little bit more. But at the same time, it's nowhere near being anything like what Hunger is to me. Hunger, just from that was the first time I watched it as well. Like that just immediately hooked me, and I just thought it was a fantastic story. And with Shame, I feel like it is inherently flawed, but there are certain elements about it that I that I enjoy. And to be honest, he follows up with 12 Years a Slave, and I feel like that's probably his best film out of everything that he's done. So either way, that's kind of where I stand with it. I'm glad I was able to say my piece because I've been fucking badgered for months and months and months over the case of this, and I was actually terrified to do this thing. Even more so than if we did cover the rest of Jane Campion's fucking filmography, which will be an absolute fucking slog. But for the sake of this, yes, I will recommend Shame.
Wonderful.
And I want this chapter of my life closed indefinitely. So
Wonderful.
yes.
Well, thank you for that, Ryan. I'm so pleased that we were able to share because this is a big one. This is a big one for me in my life. It's a big one for us. It's a big one, for Uncomfortable Brunch, I think. Tip top.
Yeah.
Tip top film.
And, they should come watch it on September
4th.
September 4th, which is also Ryan's birthday, right, dog?
It is.
Yeah, I'm 1 year older, which means 1 year closer to the grave.
That's September 4th. If you're in and around Orlando at Enzian
Alright.
at Uncomfortable Brunch.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
starts at noon. Doors open at 11:30. I am going to try to make sure that my parents are there
Lovely.
because it'll be funny.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Because this is coming out when? The 2nd of September? So the
Correct.
weekend
That week, 2 days later.
that, so if everyone's on top of their game, you should be listening to this and go, oh boy,
Yeah.
I don't have tickets, I gotta get tickets. Or you already have tickets because you're smart. So get on it. But gosh, wow, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this was fun.
Such a pleasure,
Anytime you want to talk about dicks,
which is most of
All
the
the
time.
time.
call
Yeah.
me over.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, there's at least another 200 something that we know of right now.
Oh, at least.
So
Yeah, according to my mom, she's like, "What is it? Pornography?"
And on that note, coming to you from Hose, Sluts, Anal, Double Anal Penetration, Interracial Facial, and Cream Pies, which we all know what it is now, I have
Nice.
been Laura. And we've
I'm dripping out like I should do, if you know what a cream pie is.
That's
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
And
Ripping
we
and
have
dipping.
had Josh, and we've had Katie.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Just record a little
Was he
bit.
wearing latex gloves?
I couldn't
Did
tell.
you hear about sorry, puberty. Did you hear about the TikTok where he posted a picture of his friend's butthole?